Imagine running a store and being accused of selling something you've never even carried. That's what happened to me. And it all started with a rancid bag of jerky. That's how my day began. The morning rush had just ended. The aisles were finally quiet, and I was behind the counter catching my breath when she walked in. Karen, the kind of customer who doesn't just enter a store, she storms in like she owns it. Sunglasses on, purse swinging like she's about to whip someone with it, and that infamous scowl locked on her face. She didn't even say hello. She slammed a half-torn bag of beef jerky onto the counter so hard it startled me. This, she hissed, made me sick. Replace it now. I froze, staring at the package. Wrinkled, faded label, ripped at the corner. And here's the kicker, it wasn't even a brand we carried. Not yesterday, not last week, not ever. Ma'am, I said carefully, this brand isn't sold here. It must have come from somewhere else. Her eyes narrowed like I'd just accused her of theft. Don't lie to me. I know I bought this here last week. You're going to give me a fresh bag for free, or I'll call the health inspector. Health inspector? Over jerky we'd never sold. I picked up the bag, turning it over. The expiration date, 2022. 3 years past due. This expired a long time ago, I pointed out. And again, we don't stock this brand. Karen leaned in close, her perfume overwhelming, her voice sharp. Don't play dumb. I've been shopping here for years. You're responsible for what you sell. Except she hadn't been shopping here for years. I'd only owned this store for one, and in that time, she'd maybe dropped by twice, always causing drama. I tried to keep my voice calm. Even if this did come from us, which it didn't, I can't replace it. The packaging's open and expired. It's a health risk. Karen's mouth dropped like I'd just declared war. She jabbed her finger at me. If you don't fix this, I'll make sure everyone in this town knows you're selling rotten food. The entire store went silent. 2 customers browsing nearby had stopped mid-aisle, watching. You could feel the tension crawling across the room. That's when I knew this wasn't about jerky anymore. This was Karen's crusade, and she had no intention of walking out quietly. The silence in the store felt heavier than bricks. Karen stood there, fingers still pointed at me like she was a prosecutor in court. And honestly, she might as well have been, because she wasn't just demanding a refund, she was putting my entire reputation on trial. Ma'am, I said again, slower this time, I'm not lying. We have never sold this brand. I can even show you our inventory records. But logic didn't stand a chance against Karen's fury. She snapped her fingers like I was some kind of servant. I don't care about your so-called records. What I care about is customer service. You will replace this jerky, and you will do it now. A man in the snack aisle whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, that's not even from here. I shop here all the time. Never seen that brand. Karen whipped her head around so fast her sunglasses nearly flew off. Excuse me? Were you even here when I bought it? No. Then stay out of this. The poor guy raised his hands and backed away. Meanwhile, another customer chuckled under his breath, clearly enjoying the show. But for me, it was a nightmare unfolding in slow motion. I took a deep breath and said firmly, Karen, I can't give you something for free that we don't sell. That's not how this works. Her face turned red. And then came the threat I knew was inevitable. Fine. If you won't take responsibility, I'll make you. I'm calling corporate. That line might have scared a rookie cashier. But here's the thing, I am corporate. It's my store. Independent, family-owned. There's no higher boss she can cry to. So I told her, there is no corporate. I own this store. That set her off like a firecracker. She gasped, hand clutching her pearls, yes, she actually wore pearls to a convenience store, and shouted, You? You're the owner. Then you're even more responsible. This is your fault. At this point, people were pulling out phones. I saw at least 2 cameras pointed at us. Karen must have noticed too, because instead of backing down, she dialed her performance up to maximum. She turned dramatically to the small crowd. Everyone, listen. This man sold me expired food and refuses to admit it. He doesn't care about your health, your safety, or your families. Gasps echoed. A few customers exchanged uneasy looks. Others rolled their eyes, clearly not buying her act. But me? I felt the ground shifting. If she spread this rumor outside, if she told the wrong people, my store's reputation could take a serious hit. This wasn't just about Jerky anymore. It was about survival. Karen's voice echoed off the walls, sharp and accusing, while the phones recording her captured every second. My jaw tightened. This wasn't just a nuisance anymore. This was a public spectacle, and she knew it. "Ma'am," I said, trying to steady my tone, "please lower your voice. You're creating a scene." Her laugh was sharp and mocking. "Creating a scene? You created this by poisoning me with spoiled jerky. Do you want me to show the rash I got?" The customers around me groaned in unison. One lady muttered, "Here we go." Karen, apparently fueled by the attention, began tugging at her sleeve, clearly ready to make this way more dramatic than it needed to be. I stepped forward quickly. "Stop. Nobody here wants to see that. And again, that bag didn't come from us." But she wasn't finished. She whipped out her phone, dialing right in front of me. "Hello? Yes, Health Department. I'm standing in a store that sells rancid, expired jerky, and the owner refuses to admit it." My stomach dropped. She was actually doing it. And worse, she was lying with such confidence that if someone on the other end didn't check carefully, they might believe her. I leaned across the counter, speaking loud enough for her call to pick up. "This is a privately owned store. That product was never sold here. I have receipts and stock records to prove it." Karen glared at me like I'd ruined her big moment. She hissed into the phone, "Don't listen to him. He's just covering his tracks." Then she dramatically hung up, turning back to the crowd. "They'll be here soon. We'll see who's lying." Now every pair of eyes in the store was locked on me. I could feel my face heating, not with guilt, but with frustration. My business, something I'd built from scratch, was now hanging in the balance because Karen couldn't accept being wrong. And then, like an unexpected lifeline, a voice piped up. It was the same man from earlier, the one she'd snapped at. He raised his phone, still recording, and said, "Actually, I've got proof, too. I've shopped here for years, and this brand has never once been on the shelves. I'll post this video if she keeps lying." Karen spun toward him, her face twisting in outrage. "You wouldn't dare." But the crowd was shifting. A few nodded at him, others whispered, and for the first time, Karen didn't look like the powerful queen of the room. She looked cornered. Still, she wasn't the type to back down. Her voice rose once again. "Fine. If you all want proof, then wait right here. The inspector will expose him for what he is." And with that, the stage was set for a showdown. The tension in the store was like a storm cloud that refused to break. Karen stood tall in front of the counter, arms crossed, chin lifted, confident the health inspector she called would march in and take me down. The customers lingered, some curious, others entertained, as if waiting for the climax of a soap opera. 15 minutes felt like an eternity, but eventually, the door swung open. A man in a collared shirt with a clipboard stepped in. An actual health inspector. My chest tightened. This was real now. Karen immediately rushed over, her voice high-pitched and triumphant. "Oh, thank goodness you're here. This store sold me expired jerky. I was poisoned. He refuses to admit it. She shoved the torn package into his hands like it was Exhibit A in court. The inspector adjusted his glasses, studying the bag. He turned it over once, then twice, before raising his brows. "This brand isn't listed in your stock, is it?" he asked me. "No, sir," I replied firmly. "We've never carried it." "You're welcome to check the records." He nodded, already jotting notes. Karen, however, wasn't giving up. "Don't let him fool you. He's probably hiding the rest in the back." The inspector gave her a long look, then asked me to show him my inventory logs. I led him to the computer, pulling up supplier invoices and scanned receipts. Every brand we carried, every shipment received, carefully documented. He scrolled, lips pursed, then looked back at the jerky bag. "This expired 3 years ago," he said flatly. "And the manufacturer on this packaging hasn't been in business since last year." Karen's face drained of color. "What? No, that can't be right. I know I bought it here." The inspector shook his head. "Impossible. There's no record of this product ever being sold here. And frankly, given the state of this package, it looks like it's been stored improperly for years. This is not the store's fault." Murmurs rippled through the crowd, phones kept recording. The man from earlier grinned, whispering, "Busted." Karen sputtered, her confidence crumbling. "But, he should have replaced it anyway." The inspector snapped his clipboard shut. "Ma'am, this store is in full compliance. If anything, you're wasting official time with a false complaint." And just like that, the storm broke. Karen grabbed the rancid jerky, muttered something unintelligible, and stormed out the door, sunglasses crooked on her face. As the door shut, a cheer went up from the customers. A few clapped, one patted me on the shoulder, and another promised to leave a glowing review online. For the first time that day, I smiled. Karen had tried to tear me down, but in the end, all she did was prove my store's integrity. If you enjoyed watching Karen's outrageous meltdown over expired jerky, make sure to hit that like button to show your support and drop a comment below. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next wild HOA or Karen story we share here.